Hey up everyone, welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. Now, of course, before I jump into this, the usual disclaimers: do your own research, come to your own conclusions. And I'm not inciting hatred to anyone or a particular group, religion, etc. So you guys will have read the title of this Red Alert broadcast number 4. Charlie Kirk, the latest news, the assassination, suspect, the aftermath. This all happened for UK time, right? Last night. And I was actually asleep at the time. Had like an early night. And I woke up in middle at night, checked X. Sorry, sometimes I still call it Twitter, apologies. I checked X and it just went absolutely like freaking just bananas. The clips, the pictures of what happened to Charlie Kirk. I'm absolutely. I was saying this to a mate earlier on. I still can't believe this has happened. I really can't. I feel like all of a sudden someone's just going to turn around and be like, it was just a sick joke, he's all right. It just feels like it's just, do you know what I mean? It's that evil, that egregious, that despicable. I'm at a loss that this actually happened in our reality, in this world. My thoughts go out to his wife, his children, his family, his friends, his colleagues, anyone who knew him, really. What happened yesterday to Charlie Kirk was a murder. It was an assassination of the most despicable and gruesome kind. And make no mistake about it, no matter how hard the mainstream media is trying to manipulate the story, and we're going to get on to them buggers to best believe, right? Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday. He didn't just simply die. He was assassinated. He was killed. He was murdered. And guess what? He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't pull out a weapon or a gun against anyone. He didn't incite any violence. I think, for me, why I am so shocked to my core and shaken about all of this is that he was assassinated. He was killed simply because of his ideas, simply because of the strength of his debate. So, as David Atherton says right here, they couldn't kill his ideas, so they killed him. You see, I don't give an absolute shit whether you liked him or not. I don't give a shit whether you agreed with him or not. I really don't give two shits if you actually knew of his existence or not. Simply put, no one deserves to be killed or assassinated because you disagree with what they're saying, because you disagree with their debate, because you disagree with their ideas and their beliefs. No. That doesn't fly with me. And it doesn't fly with the millions upon millions of people out there right now on the internet speaking out against this absolutely mostly evil and despicable act in the world. Absolutely. Still, I'm like, I can't believe this has happened. Yeah, as mum of Yeti hunters is saying, I see ya. They killed him over freedom of speech. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Whoever did this, yeah, I've read that Utah still has the death penalty, and one of the ways that they will enact said death penalty is by firing squad. That's all I'm saying. Now, for those that don't know, how does anyone not know, really? Charlie Kirk was killed at an event at the Utah Valley University. And this was what was going on at that event, right? And think about it this way, right? Watching him do things like this and say things like this, did he really deserve to be assassinated and murdered? Hell freaking no.
That's a lot of people, Utah, I'll tell you what. We're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
And he was doing things like this at yesterday's event. As me mate Ridvan, the apostate prophet, said right here on X, Charlie Kirk believed in debating disagreements and exchanging ideas. Only desperate cowards who have long lost the argument resort to violence. So, because they couldn't out-debate him, right? Because they couldn't beat him in debate, they then resort to violence and ultimately assassinated him, killed him. This is the thing, though. Whoever killed him, their plans backfired. Because even though Charlie Kirk is no longer with us in a physical sense here in this world, right? His words, his ideas, his beliefs, guess what? They're living on. Millions of people today, all around the world, right? Waking up, they're going online, and they're seeing numerous clips of Charlie Kirk that they wouldn't have seen before. And so, whoever killed him, if they thought that by doing so would ultimately silence him, it's backfired on that murderer. Because instead, that murderer has amplified Charlie Kirk's voice 1 million times over. I just hope that the authorities catch the evil. Catch him and prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. There's no excuse. None whatsoever. And this is the thing, right? It's even bigger, right? Because the exchange of ideas, debate, free speech, it must be protected more now than ever at all costs. People are now being killed for their free speech because someone doesn't agree with them. Because someone has been offended by what they say, so they think that they've got the license to then kill that person? No. How did we sleepwalk into this freaking world that we're in right now, guys? This is why I say the exchange of ideas, debate, free speech, it all must be protected more so now than ever at all costs. Something, by the way, that our favourite politician in the whole wide world, two-tier Keir, does not uphold as far as I'm concerned. But this traitorous, lying piece of shit is trying to come across like he's the good guy. How? Why? Well, upon the news of the assassination and the murder of Charlie Kirk, he says this: "My thoughts this evening are with the loved ones of Charlie Kirk. It's heartbreaking that a young family has been robbed of a father and a husband. Yes, it is. However, this is the bit that I got a problem with two-tier Keir saying. It says the following: we must all be free to debate openly and freely without fear. There can be no justification for political violence. He wrote that on X with a straight freaking face, you guys. This is the Prime Minister where when you say hurty words on the internet, you get jailed for years. Or if you say hurty words, you somehow get a knock at the door from the police. Yeah. He said that with a straight face. You can imagine that a lot of people had a lot of issues with what Keir Starmer said there. Let's go through some of them. Me mate Dan, over at Black Belt Barrister, make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube and follow him on X, saying the following: this is a rich insult coming from someone who labelled half the country and those calling for an inquiry into grooming gangs far right. And make no mistake, he did that. He did that. Then saying arguably leading to people being arrested and imprisoned for tweets and holding signs. Yeah. One only happened recently over the last couple of weeks. A councillor got arrested for hanging our nation's flag at a town hall or something. She got arrested for it. In our own country. Hanging our flag in our own country at a town hall, and she gets arrested for it. Yeah. Here we've got Connor Tomlinson saying you put a target on the back of every person you label far right. You're playing the same deadly game as the Democrats in the US. Charlie thought you were a contemptible tyrant. So spare us the pretense that you care about one of your political enemies being killed. Hell freaking yes. And he is a contemptible tyrant, Keir Starmer. Why the hell do you think I call our government a Labour dictatorship? Because what Keir Starmer's doing is akin to a dictator. We don't have a government anymore. We have a dictatorship. And they're traitors because they're acting against us rather than for us. Again, only in the last couple of weeks, the government literally argued in court when it came to the Epping Hotel, right? That the illegal immigrants had more rights than us. And then I think it was Bridget Phillipson, a minister, who then went on to Sky News and confirmed that on TV, that the illegal immigrants have more rights than us, the actual British citizens in this land. So, Keir Starmer does not have the public mandate anymore. We don't see it as a government anymore. This is a Labour dictatorship. And yes, Keir Starmer not only is a dictator, but he is a contemptible tyrant as well. Absolutely. Let's go on to Nick Marcel Tenconi. He is the leader of UKIP, the UK Independence Party. He responded to two-tier Keir with the following: everything you stand for ideologically incites hatred. And it does, because whenever he is faced with any criticism against the illegal immigrants, against the handling of the illegal immigrants by our dictatorship or anything, right, that's opposed to the way that two-tier Keir believes and thinks, he turns round straight away and he calls you far right. Insinuates, as far as I'm concerned, that you're racist. So, yeah, everything Keir Starmer stands for, I would say, does incite hatred. And he does that. Two-tier Keir does that. Nick Marcel Tenconi then says, your sick, twisted ideology radicalises liberals, socialists and communists to become terrorists and murderers. Well, yeah. Because when he then calls the people that just disagree with him and criticise him and his government far right, he's then pitching us against them. He's turning around and saying we're the enemy. We're in the wrong. Because by calling us far right, that's the insinuation. He's insinuating we're the enemy, we're in the wrong, you need to fight against us kind of situation, right? What does that do? Yeah, radicalises liberal, socialist, communists and anyone else that is on team two-tier Keir. Now, Tommy Robinson noted underneath two-tier Keir's message on X, with this, are you effing for real? I know. I had to read through two-tier Keir's message on X quite a number of times thinking, seriously, he thought it was the best idea in the whole wide world to put this message out on X after everything he's done and continues to do against us, the British citizens. And he sends that message out on X with a straight face, like, I'm sorry, but no, game over, dude, game over. But yeah, Tommy Robinson saying, are you effing for real? You would have had him locked up for speaking the truth, you coward. And he's right. He's right. Think about it. If Charlie Kirk, right, was living full-time in the UK, paying UK taxes, the whole lot, right? Living here full-time. You think that two-tier Keir would let him get away with what he was saying, even though what he was saying, there was nothing wrong in it whatsoever, right? You think two-tier Keir wouldn't resist arresting him and trying to shut him up like he did to Tommy Robinson? Like he's done to countless others? Tommy's right. How dare he try and speak up in defence of someone that if they were a British citizen paying full British tax here in the UK, he would happily have arrested and locked up for hurty words. Now, since publishing this, Tommy's gone one step further and he's actually released this video right here. So, yeah, have a gander at this, guys.
These wankers have put targets on everyone. Keir Starmer is responsible for the sort of shit that happens there. Because he's put a target on every one of us with his smears and lies for telling the truth. Charlie Kirk told the truth. If Charlie Kirk lived in the UK, Keir Starmer would lock him up. How dare you make comments about his death? When you're responsible for this shit, people with your mindset, condemning people, putting targets on them, lying about them, and then pretending you give a shit. Absolute fucking hypocrisy.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The hypocrisy is off the freaking charts. As Dr. David Wood says right here, won't Keir Starmer just have sent Charlie Kirk to prison? Absolutely. For two-tier Keir, right, to turn round and be like, we must all be free to debate openly and freely without fear. Let me remind two-tier Keir, we're in the UK and two-tier Keir has created an environment where we can't debate openly and freely without fear. Let me remind two-tier Keir that it's his dictatorship that has set up a working group to figure out and determine a definition for Islamophobia, which everyone knows. Let's be real here, yeah? Everyone knows is just a backdoor for blasphemy laws coming back into the UK. Because as soon as they set that definition and they put it into law, any debate, any criticism against Islam, they could just turn around and say it's Islamophobic, and then you are shut up. Where's the free speech then, two-tier Keir? Where is the opportunity to debate openly and freely without fear, two-tier Keir? For me, it would have just been best if he said naff all. Naff all. Just piss off, back to number 10, and wait until the public fire your ass. Through legal, peaceful and democratic means via the ballot box. Little bit of a disclaimer there. But that's the country we're living in at the moment. I have to put these disclaimers in. Because it's not enough to say something like that for you guys to read between the lines and know that I don't mean that violently or anything like that. No, I have to put these disclaimers in. Because we are not free to debate openly and freely without fear. We are not free to discuss openly and freely without fear. And again, that's because of two-tier Keir's doing. It's an absolute joke that he said that last bit. Absolute freaking joke. Now, if you think that reaction is bad, oh, guys, let's get on to the mainstream media and their abhorrent, evil, nasty reaction to the murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, Charlie Kirk, he said it himself best when he published the following on X. He says, quote, "You can tell a lot about a person by how they react when somebody dies." Yeah. You definitely can. And so, let's get into that, shall we? Let's get into the mainstream media's reaction to Charlie Kirk being assassinated, to Charlie Kirk being murdered. Let's look into it right now. Here we go. So, we've got GB News. GB News reporting on a guest appearing on Good Morning Britain, right? The guest that appeared on Good Morning Britain, his name is Nels Abbey, right? And Nels Abbey turns round on Good Morning Britain, just to be very clear on that, and said the following. Can I just say something? I don't believe he was a Cicero for the TikTok age. I believe he was a David Duke for the TikTok age. By invoking the name David Duke, right, he's aligning Charlie Kirk with the freaking KKK. But the dumbass don't stop there. No! When asked to clarify, right, who David Duke was, he then turns around and says he was the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, the Triple K. Now, this is by no means trying to justify his murder, he says. Political violence is wrong at home, it's wrong abroad. Political violence must be condemned, as must the propagandizing for political violence and the dehumanization of people. Charlie Kirk was somebody who I shiver, particularly for conservatives, when he's described as conservative because he wasn't. He was quite clearly and comfortably a supremacist. Who the absolute F has Nels Abbey been watching in debate? Because I tell you something, he hasn't been watching Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk did not have a supremacist bone in any of his freaking body. Are you shizzing me here? But no, because he disagreed with the debate that Charlie Kirk brought, with the ideas that Charlie Kirk had, right? With the beliefs that Charlie Kirk had. Because Nels Abbey disagreed with all of that, that automatically meant that Charlie Kirk was the enemy. But the enemy of the highest order. He was the enemy triple K version. How about, right, radical idea, yeah? But how about when we disagree with someone, we just simply freaking disagree with them? That we don't resort to ad hominem attacks and labeling them, pigeonholing them as quite literally the enemy. No. If you disagree with someone, right, that doesn't mean that they're your enemy. It just means you disagree with them. That's it. That's it. But no, the mainstream media, right, had to propagate this idea that, oh yeah, Charlie Kirk, he was murdered. Yeah, but do you know what? He was the enemy. Take a load of this. If you think that's going to anger you, take a look at this, right? The BBC had a Democratic strategist called Joy Cheney on. And you can hear her laughing as she's talking about Charlie Kirk's murder. Just listen to this.
And I was thinking, I've never shared a Trump post in my life. I will contemplate sharing this one. But what I will say with a caveat, he wasn't admired and loved by all. So that's an exaggeration. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sorry, Matt,
let me finish.
Go ahead.
It doesn't matter.
Now, despicable enough, right? But notice how the BBC, underneath the picture of Charlie Kirk here, right? Notice how the BBC says that Charlie Kirk died. Charlie Kirk died. Bitch, please. Charlie Kirk did not just die. Right? He didn't just die. He was murdered. He was assassinated. They're trying to water down what happened here. They're trying to water down the murder and the assassination of Charlie Kirk by turning around and saying Charlie Kirk dies in Utah campus shooting. Like, shiz the freaking bed. No, he didn't just die. He was murdered. He was assassinated. They are trying to water down what happened here. They're trying to make light of it. They're trying to make a joke of it. They're trying to turn him into the enemy. They're trying to ultimately gaslight us. But guess what? We are not falling for that. Not anymore. And guys, there's so much more. Here was, because he's been fired since this came out, this is MSNBC analyst Matthew Dowd. And this is the despicable thing that he had to say about the murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in. He's been one of the most divisive.
Yep. What possesses anyone to say that? Just because of what he said, because of his beliefs, because of his debate, that's why it's his fault. It's Charlie Kirk's fault that he got murdered and he got assassinated. He shouldn't have been saying what he said. It's his fault. Since saying this, Matthew Dowd has quite rightly been sacked. Despicable human beings in mainstream media. This is insane. Who knew, though, that Jeffree Star, would pop up and be the voice of reason. Now, before I play the clip from Jeffree Star, that guys, you're going to be shocked, in all honesty. Pleasantly surprised, I would say. Let me just say the following. I know Jeffree Star has a very colourful past, very controversial past. He's done and said things in the past that absolutely were abhorrent, but has since apologised for it. And yeah, I do believe that Jeffree Star is now a better person, and I actually do support Jeffree Star. Let me prove it to you. I have pretty much the majority of his eyeshadow palettes. I love his eyeshadow palettes. I really, really do. So, yeah, just want to say that as a little bit of a disclaimer there, because I've never seen this side of Jeffree Star before, and do you know what? I'd love to see more of this. Have a gander at what he says here.
Charlie Kirk was just shot and is now passed away while he was debating at the Utah Valley College. And this happened while we've been streaming. I've literally been editing a video. I'm about to upload it right now. And I'm literally stunned. Like, what is going on, dude? For speaking the truth, that's what happened? Are you fucking kidding me right now? If you watch me daily, we don't really get political in this room. We're all about positivity, makeup, sarcasm, jokes, trolling, clapping back, being fun. Okay, this is a grown man who fought for the truth, who went all around our country debating people of all walks of life, walks of religion, walks of sexuality. He debated everybody. And if you're in here saying it wasn't the truth, you are a they, them loser, okay? You are one of those people who doesn't want to live in reality. You want to live in your weird little brain up here, okay? You are delusional. You are not right in the head, okay? So any of you weirdos coming in here, Charlie fought for the truth. He debated people all over this country, and he didn't care what you were. He still had a conversation with everybody. Why did I respect him? Because he knows reality.
Do you know what? After that, I'm more than happy to give more of my money to Jeffree Star and his cosmetic company. That is for damn certain. Now, Eric Trump put all the mainstream media in their place by going off on them on Fox News. I'm going to play this clip, and then straight after, there is breaking news in the murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk. The weapon has allegedly, reportedly been found. So I'm just going to quickly play this clip for you of Eric Trump putting all of mainstream media in their place by going off on them on Fox News. And then I'm going to jump into the breaking news and the latest in this case.
We've seen enough death. We've seen enough senseless killings. And Sean, let me leave it with this. I'm sick and tired of seeing the bullets. They're only going one way. Again, first it was my father. Then you saw what they tried to do to Kavanaugh. Then you saw what they did to Steve Scalise. Now they just killed Charlie Kirk. I've gotten more envelopes of white powder, as has Don, as has everybody in our entire family. When does the senseless nonsense stop? And when is there accountability from MSNBC and NBC and everybody else who just fosters this hate every single day, including today, right after that incredible man right there was killed? It's enough.
Yeah. Enough's enough. Enough is freaking enough. Just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean that you've got license to freaking murder and assassinate that person. People are taking freaking crazy pills all day long. They need to stop. They need to stop. Stop this. You want to beat someone, beat them on ideas. Beat them in the arena of debate. And if you can't, well, potentially you have to live up to the fact that you might not be good enough. Or you might not have all the facts on your end, right? Or that the opposition may be right and you may be wrong. That could be a thing as well, maybe. The last thing anyone, though, should ever think they're entitled to is to kill and assassinate someone because they don't agree with what they're saying and they can't beat them in debate, so they'll kill them instead. Shiz the freaking bed. Now, yes, breaking news has just come in. So let me get through this right now for you guys. So the FBI is saying that a weapon has been found, but the killer is still at large. They're still yet to catch him. So here we go. Investigators recover rifle. This was only released in the last 5-10 minutes. This is according to an FBI special agent. So FBI Special Agent in charge, Robert Bowles, says investigators this morning have recovered what we believe to be the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting, a high-powered ball-action rifle in a wooded area where authorities believe the shooter fled. They've also found and are analysing a footwear impression, a paw print and a forearm print. Bowles thanks the community for the more than 130 tips that the FBI has received so far. And so the official is also saying that the suspect appears to be of college age. He says that the suspect blended in well with the college institution before adding, we're not releasing many details right now. We will soon, but right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. So this is quite telling, okay, because I'm reading this for the first time, okay? So I'm getting this first time like a lot of you guys are watching right now, right? Whether you're watching on YouTube or on X. Hey up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. For them to turn around and say, we're not releasing many details right now. Just a little bit of amateur linguistic analysis, guys, for those that are used to this channel and do what I do here. To say that we're not releasing many details right now, that indicates that they know a lot more than they're telling us. I appreciate they're not telling us everything at the moment because that could jeopardize the hunt for the killer, jeopardize the case. So I'm actually Gucci with that. But for them to turn around and say we're not releasing many details right now, that indicates that they know a lot more than they're letting on, and that there is a potential, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, that they actually know who did this, that they actually know the identity of the killer. There is a potential there. We'll see. We'll see. Because they say that the individual appears to be of college age. For them to turn around and say that the individual appears to be of college age would only indicate one thing, as far as I'm concerned. They've seen a picture of the suspect. They know who they're hunting. They know who they're trying to catch. To turn around and say they appear to be of college age means that they've got an impression of this person, of this suspect's appearance. And the only way, as far as I'm concerned, they could get an impression of the suspect's appearance being of college age is to potentially have a picture of him in the first place, or even a video recording of him, CCTV, whatever the frick you want to go with, right? So, yeah, the net may be closing in on this evil mofo. Here we go. Yes. Seriously, I swear on my freaking life, this is the first time I'm reading through it. I mean, this is only breaking news and this has just come out in the last 4 or 5 minutes, right, guys? What did I just say? They know who they're looking for. They've got pictures. They've got something. There you go. There you go. FBI has images of the suspect. FBI special agent in charge, Robert Bowles, says they have images of the shooter and don't believe the community is at risk. Answering a question from a reporter, he says they are exhausting every resource to find the shooter. They say they have images of the suspect. There you go. There you go. My amateur linguistic analysis was correct. Who would have thought it, right, guys? They say they've got images of the suspect, but can't comment specifically on his face as it remains part of the investigation, and that we'll release that shortly. Special agent adds, we're not sure how far he's gone yet. The update from officials has now ended, and we'll bring you a summary of the key line shortly. Stick with us. Okay, so we've got a couple more kind of clues as to who this suspect actually is, right? So he's of college age. It's a he, right? Because they're using the pronoun of he, so he's male, okay? And they do have pictures of him. They do have pictures of him. So they know exactly who they are hunting. Yeah, I hope they get him quick. I hope they get him quick. Because like I said, I've read that Utah has the death penalty, and one of the ways they like to dispatch the death penalty is by firing squad. That'll do. That'll do. Just give me one moment. I've just got to do something in the background. For those that don't know, it's just me. I don't have anyone else working with me or helping me. It's just me in the background. Just give me 2 seconds and then we'll get back onto the live stream and more information about Charlie Kirk, the suspect, the murderer. Yeah, we'll get into that in a moment. Just one moment. Okay. There we go. Right, so I'm back. Sorry, I just needed to do that short little bit right there. So, that is the latest in terms of the Charlie Kirk murder case, the assassination case. So, they have found the weapon. They're turning round just to recap. And they're saying that, yeah, they found the weapon, high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area. They've got a footwear impression. They've got a forearm imprint. So they've got all that. Most likely they'll have DNA as well, especially with a forearm imprint, as far as I'm concerned. He appears to be of college age, so we're getting details about this suspect, okay? It's he, so it's a male, appears to be of college age. He blended well into the college institution. So not only are they saying that the individual appears to be of college age, but they're also confirming that he went to that college. He blended in well with the college institution. To me, that only means one thing. He went to that college. He went to that college at Utah. Then, to break it down further, they've got images of the suspect. They know exactly who they're going for. And best believe, they'll know his name, they'll know who he looks like, they'll know what he watches on Netflix and whatnot, they'll know what he had for freaking breakfast, all right? Let's be real here. They know exactly who they're hunting, they know exactly who they're looking for. They've got pictures of him. Yep, so that is the latest in the case of the murder, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And so let's focus a little bit more now on the man himself, Charlie Kirk. And so here is a clip that I found on X. And this is his wife, Erica. And this is what Erica said about her husband, Charlie Kirk.
He is, my husband, Charlie Kirk, is a force. He is a force. He is bold when the world demands silence. He is fearless where others flinch, and he has taken on the battle of the next generation, changing these hearts and minds. I know you guys have seen it at the college campuses, changing the hearts and minds of these kids. It's not a career to him, it's a calling. And it's so incredible to see as a wife how God has prepared him, how God has molded him and used him. All while he's doing that, he's still the spiritual head of our family. It is my honor to be able to introduce you guys to one of the greatest fighters that I know, who is so intentional, who is so amazing, and he never backs down from the fight because he knows who and what he fights for, and that is God, it's his family, and it's country. I want to introduce you guys to my husband, Charlie Kirk.
And if this suspect, right, this male, this suspected college student murderer, right, if he thought that by murdering, assassinating Charlie Kirk, that he would end the influence, the force of power that Charlie Kirk had in this world, it's backfired on him. It's backfired on the murderer. Because he's just amplified Charlie Kirk and his message, his beliefs, his debate, his ideas 1,000,000 times over. Like I said earlier on at the beginning of all of this, people are waking up today knowing more about Charlie Kirk, more now than ever. Clips of Charlie Kirk in various debates is now being shared. People that wouldn't have known Charlie Kirk before, they're knowing him now. People that wouldn't have heard from Charlie Kirk, they're hearing from him now. Millions more are waking up to what Charlie Kirk was saying and debating whilst he was here on this earth. Backfired on the murderer, it really has. And this is the thing, right? He didn't have a weapon, right? He didn't have a gun. He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't incite any violence whatsoever. He was killed because of saying things that this murderer just didn't agree with and thought, you know what? I've got the license to kill him now. No. Never, ever, ever in 1,000,000 years does anyone have the license to do anything like that. Not a freaking chance.
Shared a Trump post in my life. I will contemplate sharing.
I don't know why that started playing in the background there. They silenced him for saying things like this, guys.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
They silenced him for saying things like this.
I'm a feminist, and I don't hate men. Okay, so you are a self-described feminist. What is a woman?
Why do you want to know?
I'm infinitely curious.
What's a man?
You're looking at one.
Why do you think that that's important to you, what a man and a woman is?
So
Do you
you
treat men
can't-
and women differently?
Well, it depends in what context, though. Politically, no. Under the law, no. Should they be treated differently in societal customs and norms? Yes.
Why?
Like, we should open doors for women. We should honor and protect women.
I want
and-
to honor and protect you, man.
Okay, great,
do you
thank
not
you.
honor and
Women are worthy
protected?
of protection. Can you tell me what a woman is, since you're a feminist?
You're saying these things because you're trying to get a gotcha.
You're
okay,
a feminist. Shouldn't you be able to tell me what a woman is?
I'm a feminist.
Isn't that probably
because-
important to feminism? What is the woman that you're trying to
Bruh, I
advance
know,
and
right?
protect?
Bruh.
Isn't that
This is
integral
so
to?
funny.
Is that the whole feminist project? The war
Asking
against.
what a woman is the only way that you can get a
Well,
gotcha over everybody
I-
else. Why is it so important to you to define things in certain categories? How does that help your day-to-day life? Like
What other categories in the human species are there besides male and female?
Well, I just think that categorization is usually unhelpful when we're trying to improve society, right?
I have XY chromosomes.
Okay.
Can I give birth?
No, you can't.
Bingo. That's why categorization matters.
They killed him for saying things like this.
Major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West. In a Muslim majority country, most Muslim majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is, I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality of life?
Everything from quality of life, from cultural cohesion, from whether people want to live there, prior to the native-born fertility rates.
Again, people watching this will say is your criticism of the religion itself or not Muslim people? Because there are British Muslims who have
but
been
you don't
born
have to
here.
caveat it all the time. I know you guys have to because you're British and all that. A culture ceases to exist when we don't have unified language. When you cannot talk to your neighbor. I'm not discounting that there are good individual Muslims. The question that we need to reckon with the West is Mohammedanism compatible with the teachings of Blackstone? Is it compatible with the legacy of Wilberforce?
All right.
And the great thinkers that have come from this country? And I will say, no, there's a reason why when you go to these Islamic countries that you're not going to see the equal protection of rights, that you do not believe in universal human equality, that you do not believe the same things that we believe in the West. And I think it's suicidal to import millions of them.
Yeah, and you know what, just on a passing point on that, it's most of the time, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even multicultural. Because there was a school a few months ago during Easter which cancelled Easter celebrations out of respect for other faiths. So it's not as if the word multicultural and multi-diverse doesn't include Christianity.
No, and again, this is the red-green axis, and Britain is at the forefront of this. You have the Marxists that have infiltrated your government and the Islamists that are coming to your country. And when they combine together, they both agree on one thing. They have huge disagreements on a lot. They hate the West, and they want to see it broken.
Okay, we're finished.
Major reasons why.
Yeah. This catch-up feed says this is the kind of guy Charlie Kirk was.
And I can tell you I'm super blessed. I have the best wife in the world. We have an amazing life. Building a family is the coolest thing ever. And my prayer for all of you is that you one day can do that.
That's so cute.
It's honestly the most joyful thing. And I've had some pretty amazing experiences. I've been very, very blessed. Very lucky, you could say, but very blessed is the word I would use. And the greatest joy I've ever had is coming home to my little daughter running up to my leg. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Not flying on Air Force One, not meeting with presidents. That's all that pales in comparison to your little girl coming up and squeezing your leg.
See, another aspect of this whole awful situation that's really hit me hard is some people's reactions to the murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk. There's some out there, I shit you not, right? They're celebrating. They're celebrating the fact that Charlie Kirk was assassinated and murdered. Charlie Kirk, Conservative. Charlie Kirk, very highly skilled debater. Charlie Kirk, human being. Charlie Kirk, father. Charlie Kirk, the brother. Charlie Kirk, the son. Anyone out there celebrating that Charlie Kirk was murdered and assassinated, you are sick in the freaking head. But it goes more than that as well. You're not just sick in the head. You're downright evil. Downright evil. To be celebrating someone's death, someone's murder, someone that was assassinated. So whoever's putting up the bunting, right? And the balloons and celebrating, you're sick, you're evil, and I hope the bunting and the balloons all burn the fuck down. And I don't mean that in a literal sense. Again, I have to do that disclaimer because I'm in the UK. Freaking Keir Starmer turning around and saying we need to protect free speech at all costs, blah, 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 blah. No fucking free speech here. What an absolute clown he is. Anyone that's celebrating the assassination, the murder of Charlie Kirk, you are sick in the freaking head and you are evil. Evil. Now, sorry, let me just double check YouTube Studio there. There we go. Sorry, there was a little bit of an error. I've just fixed that now for you guys. Right, so that being said, tomorrow in London, there is going to be a vigil for Charlie Kirk here. Turning Point UK saying this Friday, 12 September at 6 p.m. By the Montgomery statue in Whitehall, SW1 2AT. So for those that don't know, I'm actually going to be in London over the weekend to attend and cover here on this channel the Unite the Kingdom Free Speech Rally. I am going to be at the vigil tomorrow for Charlie Kirk. And so, you know, anyone that's there, come up and say hi to me if you want. Only if you want, of course. But yeah, I'm going to be at this vigil tomorrow. But before I get into your comments, guys, I just want to play this last little clip. This is my favourite clip of Charlie Kirk that's been doing the rounds on the internet currently. Let me play you this, guys.
I got a question.
Sure. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
I don't think I told you. My name's Mercury.
Nice to meet you.
Why are you here?
Okay, I've been asked that question a lot. First of all, that question should not even have to be asked, but when people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilizations stop talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option.
Do you think that's not emotional violence?
How is this? What is emotional violence, by the way? I don't know what that is.
It is harm intentionally perpetrated on another another human being that is intentionally targeted at their emotional well-being.
Okay, so feelings mean nothing to me. Isn't why we had the First Amendment to try to push our boundaries and to hear things that might make you mildly uncomfortable?
This doesn't make me mildly uncomfortable.
Does it make you very uncomfortable?
It makes me angry.
So that's my favourite clip of Charlie Kirk that's doing the rounds right now that I wanted to play right at the end of all of this before I jump into your comments in the live stream. But that's where we're at right now, guys. And, you know, again, my thoughts go out to his wife, his family, his daughter, friends, colleagues, anyone who would know him. He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't have a gun. He didn't pull out a weapon of any kind. He didn't incite any violence. This was a senseless killing. He was killed because of his ideas. He was killed because of the strength of his debate. And I don't care whether you liked him or not. I don't care whether you agreed with him or not. Or if you actually knew of his existence or not. No one deserves to be killed simply because you disagree with what they're saying. No one deserves to be killed because they're on the opposite end of the debate. No one. Not Charlie Kirk, not no one. How is it that we are living in a world where publicly discussing our ideas, debating our side of the aisle, can lead to you literally now getting killed in front of people? In front of people. You're not even safe in a crowd anymore, really, in the grand scheme of things. There's no safety in numbers. If someone from the other side has determined that they somehow have the right to kill you, don't matter where you are, they're going to try and hunt you down. It's time to stop demonizing us and listen to us. Talk to us, talk with us, discuss. Put down the rifle, put down the knives, put down the weapons. I fear we're not even close to getting to that point at the moment. And I can say, that's not because of me, that's for damn certain. So, that's where we are at the moment. One thing I just want to mention before I jump into your live chat, what you guys are saying, is that for those that know, I do have another channel called Steph the Alter Nerd, and I report there on the Royal News, predominantly Harry and Meghan. And so, for those that are here, that are also familiar with my other channel, okay. I know Harry yesterday had a meeting with King Charles. I was extremely shocked. I never thought it was ever going to happen, ever, okay? So, yes, I was wrong. It did happen in the end. Fine. I'm not going to report on it. F no. Why? Because, to be quite frank, I don't give a shiz right now. I don't give a shiz right now about Hazza and his grovelling effing attempts towards the king and the royal family. I really don't give a shiz right now. There's bigger fish to fry. More important things to be talking about, discussing and focusing on. And it ain't that freaking ginger whinger royal has-been. It just ain't that at all. It's this. It's Charlie Kirk. It's the attacks on our freedom of speech, of our rights to have freedom of speech. It's the attacks on what we believe in. Our ideas, our ideology. That is more important to be discussing today than some ginger whinger freaking royal has-been that's making now grovelling attempts to the royal family. I just don't give a shiz about that today. I really, really do not. I couldn't give a rat's effing ass, really, to be fair. Now, I am collating information, of course, and maybe next week I might do a reaction video or something along those lines. But for those from that side of the world, over on my other channel, yeah. That's why you're not going to get any videos from me on that channel today. I'm just not. Nah. I just don't give a shiz today about him. I really, really don't. So let's actually jump into the live chat and see what you guys are saying. I do have a couple of thank yous, my goodness, before we jump into the live chat. Now, please bear in mind, anyone that sends super chat sticker, your chats are guaranteed to be read. Anyone else, I'll just pick and choose what you guys are saying, but your chats are not guaranteed to be read, so please do bear that in mind. Jesse581, thank you so much for the super chat saying prayers for Charlie's family from me in Australia. Yeah, my good thoughts go to his family, friends, better colleagues, anyone that knew him. And Jesse581, thank you so much for the super chat sticker as well. Ada Wongs, my goodness, thank you so much for that very generous £20 super chat. Very, very kind of you indeed. Any super chats that you're able to send my way, if you are able to, I do reinvest back into the channel. I did actually upload a community post over the last couple of weeks to show you some of the new investments I've made into the channels, some new vlogging equipment. So I'll be using that over the weekend whilst I'm down in London from tomorrow. So if you haven't done so already, do make sure that you are subscribed here on Political Nerds, or follow me on X at StephAlterNerd, because I will be going live when I'm down in London, especially for the Unite the Kingdom Free Speech Rally. So for anyone that can't make it, I am going to be live streaming it for you guys as well whilst I'm there. So there we go. Let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat. Let's crack into this, shall we? So, Lex Tech says, so much for security. The people attending in the whole area should have been checked well before Charlie appeared. This is the thing. I think opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, unfortunately, you can't block 100% of it, can you? There's always going to be that 0.001% that somehow just slips right through the net. And I think this is what we've seen here with Charlie Kirk. I really do. Void Eternal says he was just far too rational for some people. That's the sad reality. Yeah. Yeah. Some people prefer to live in storyland rather than reality. For whatever effed up reason. But reality is reality and nothing's going to change it. No matter how hard you believe something else. Reality is reality. Reality don't give a shit about what you think or what you believe the world should be, this, that, and the other. No, the world is just as it is. Science is as it is. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that is the sad reality, isn't it? See what else you guys are saying. The Nerd in Motion, they tried to sweep over the death of the poor Ukrainian girl. Yeah. He was released, what, 14 times or something like that? He should never have been walking free in the first place. It's disgusting. And yeah, mainstream media are just trying to sweep over her death. If it never happened, guys. No, it did. That's the reality of the situation. What the f are they going to do about it now? Lisa says, this is what the establishment wants, the brainwashed youth, and Charlie was trying to pull them out of their brainwashing and to think for themselves. Yeah. And this is the thing, right? One of the things that really kind of like slams me hard on all of this is, think about it this way. Charlie Kirk must have been a really, really effective debater and leader to warrant assassination. In other words, Charlie Kirk must have been doing a damn freaking good job, right? For someone to want to stop him in his tracks. Do you see where I'm coming from there, guys? Sue says, be safe in London, Steph, praying for your safe travels. Thank you. I will be as safe as I can be, of course. Void Eternal says, just a question, but does anyone ever feel the weird avoidance from people these days? Talking about human connection, sometimes it just feels like everyone is looking over their shoulder. Well, this is the thing. The establishment, the mainstream media, politicians, our Labour dictatorship, they've all created and fostered this environment where, yeah, there is this weird avoidance from people. Everyone looking over their shoulder. Not really talking much, let's say, face to face. Why? Because for the UK, there's a fear of speaking out. Because we can get arrested for it. And we can get sent down for years in jail for it. And that's the mixture of the mainstream media, the establishment, and our Labour dictatorship that's created that. So, yeah, there is an avoidance. But it's the establishment's making. And ultimately, the establishment, mainstream media, the government, they have perpetuated this narrative of an us against them, us versus them. We don't agree with them, we're the enemy. We don't agree with them, we're more than the enemy. We're far right. We're racist, we're bigots, we're misogynistic, whatever, right? This is a thing. When you use those slurs and those accusations so many freaking times, as the establishment tends to do, right, guys? It loses all its power. Loses all its power because you're using it way too many times. Loses its power, it loses its meaning. To when it should be applied. Do you see where I'm coming from there, guys? Also, as well, them calling us all those slurs, it fosters again this whole us versus them situation. If we don't agree with them, then we're in the wrong, we're evil, we're the enemy. No. It might just mean that maybe, just at the very least, some of what we're saying is right. But no, the establishment, the mainstream media, the Labour dictatorship here in the UK have fostered this narrative that if we disagree with what they're doing, we're far right, we're racist, this, that and the other. We're far right and racist for now flying our own damn flag in our own damn fucking country. That's how insane this country's got, and then some, right? And then some. So no wonder there's this reluctance between many people of not really wanting to talk about it. The silenced interfere. And speaking about my other channel earlier on, Steph the Alternate. So I've been speaking out against Harry and Meghan for a number of years now, right? There have been times I've defended them. Rare blue moon moments, but I have done. But more often than not, I do criticise them. And yeah, the sugars, Harry and Meghan's fans, you know, they'll call you racist, misogynistic, bigot, this, that, and the other, right? I learned that by doing that, they're trying to silence me, right? Because no one wants to be known as a racist or a bigot or anything like that, especially when it's not true. And so when someone calls someone that, there can be a tendency for that someone then to be like, oh, well, yeah, maybe I'll stay quiet because I don't want anyone calling me that. I don't want anyone to think that I'm this, that, and the other. And so there's this tendency where people then, they'll go silent, right? Yeah. I'm not playing that game there, and I'm not playing that game here. Call me racist all you want. Call me far right all you want. Guess what? The reality of the situation is I'm neither of those. I'm neither of those. I'm a British citizen, pissed off, and I've had enough. I've had enough of our government, and they've literally admitted this, turning around and saying that illegal immigrants have more rights than me. I've had enough of our government jailing us for hurty words on the internet. I've had enough of Keir Starmer being the hypocritical bastard that he is, with a straight face turning around and saying we must be all free to debate openly and freely without fear. Piss off. He's created this environment in the first place where people are fearful still of speaking out against the illegal immigrants, of speaking out against Islam. Let's be real here. You can criticise and speak out against any religion, right? But when it comes to Islam, why is it different? And I'm just asking for a friend here. Why is it so different? No religion is above criticism. And wake up, that includes Islam. Why is it that we get beaten down for turning around and saying that we want Sharia courts banned in this country? Why is it that we get called far right and beaten down when we demanded earlier on this year a public inquiry into, and let's be real here, the predominantly Muslim rape gangs? Yeah, there's this avoidance, going back to this comment, went a little bit on a tangent, but all comes back to this. There's this avoidance, partly because mainstream media, the establishment, and our Labour dictatorship here in the UK has created the environment for this avoidance to take place in the first place. Enough is freaking enough. I'm done. I'm done with this BS. Let's see. General Scott, thank you so much for gifting a membership to a political nerd out there. That's very, very kind of you, General. I salute you, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah. Douglas Murray should be the ambassador to the US. Yeah. And stay tuned, because I'm collating all the information together with this whole Mandelson, Keir Starmer, Jeffrey Epstein situation. And yeah, Keir Starmer, how he has the cheek to think that he can still stay our Prime Minister even now is insane. And so, yeah, wait for the bombshell video I've got for you guys next week on all of that. Unite Britain says, what else will it take for us to really say enough is enough? This needs to stop now. Let's take back our freedom of speech and our culture. Well, this is the thing. We are saying now enough is enough. Look on the internet. Look at the countless videos and live streams of the protests happening outside numerous illegal immigrant hotels in this country. Look on Saturday. Take a look on Saturday. Have a gander at London. And notice How many people are going to be in attendance at the Unite the Kingdom free speech rally? I think it's going to be one for the ages. It's going to be one for the books. One that Keir Starmer will not be able to ignore. We're freaking banging on his freaking front door to turn around and say, enough is enough. We will not be browbeaten. You will not take away our free speech rights. We have had enough. And we will make sure, through peaceful, legal, democratic means, that we do have more rights than illegal immigrants, not the other way around. We are done. Enough is enough. The British Revolution, guys, oh, it started. It is started. And it's not going anywhere. Not anytime soon, that's for certain. Let's see what else you guys saying. Aidan Wellsmith says, take London. Khan has turned it into Gotham. Yeah, he has. How the hell he got knighted? I have no idea. I don't even call him Sir Khan. No, he does not. He has not achieved that level of respect for me to call him that. Not a chance. Not a chance. He's got rewarded for doing an absolute shit job in the capital of our country. Let me put it this way to you. I first visited London just over 10 years ago. I have family that live down there. And let me put it to you this way. I've been to London since. And it has changed. Just in the last 10 years, it's changed. Gone downhill like this. Woo! It's not recognisable. When I go to London now, I don't feel entirely safe anymore. I have to watch my back. I have to make sure, stay in certain areas. I've got to watch myself. Even more so because I'm a female. And let's be real here, right? All the attacks that these illegal immigrants are doing against us, yeah, they're predominantly targeting us females. I don't even feel safe in my own country. I don't even feel safe in the capital of my own country. Just swallow that for a moment. How did it get to this? Well, let's put it this way. Khan is not blameless at all. He is fully responsible for the state that London is in right now. It's dirty. It's not even clean anymore. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And it's not safe. But he thinks it's the best idea in the whole wide world to turn around and say, oh, illegal immigrants, you're welcome here. You're welcome here. Multiculturalism works, guys. No, it doesn't. Not when the culture you're importing into our own country ain't compatible with our society in the first place. I'm all for multiculturalism, right? Fair play. And on a personal level, I'm dual nationality. I'm British, but I'm also Italian as well. My grandparents in like the 40s, 50s, they came over to the UK. They didn't leech. They didn't claim any benefits. No, nothing. They worked hard, my grandparents. They opened up a coffee shop. My mum was born here. And then a couple of decades later, bye. So, for someone to turn around and say I'm against multiculturalism, piss off, you cowbags. What I'm against is people coming into this country that do not align with our values or our laws or our culture in any way, shape or form, right? That thinks that raping little girls is absolutely fine and moral to do, makes me sick. Oh, and want to take over our country as well. Because how many of them want Sharia law in this country? Oh, and the UK isn't known as being the Western capital of the world for Sharia courts for nothing. We've got over 85 of them here. So yeah, the whole country's turned into Gotham, really. But speaking specifically about London, oh hell yeah. Over the last 10 years since I first visited, the decline is absolutely noticeable. From freaking space, it's noticeable. It's how bad it is. Car needs to go. And do you know what? If I could vote for the London mayor race, I'd vote for Ant Middleton. Hands down. London now needs someone with a firm hand that's going to get it back into shape and make it safe for us again. And I firmly believe Ant Middleton's the way to go on that one. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Little Lady D says, as an American and of Welsh descent, I was very happy to see the flags flying all over Britain. Oh yeah, we are too. You know the people that aren't happy to see our own nation's flag being flown in our country? Councils, the government, the authorities, and the woke lefties that have had a brain transplant, really, at the end of the day. There's no complaints when the Palestinian flag is flown all around. There's no complaints when the Pakistani flag, right, is flown all around in this country. There's no complaints when the Ukrainian flag is flown all around this country. When the French flag is flown all around this country. When the American flag is flown all around in this country. There's no complaints when the LGBTQ flag, right, is flown all around this country. No complaints whatsoever. But all of a sudden, we rise up and go ahead with Operation Raise the Colours and hang our own nation's flag all around. And all of a sudden, there's a problem, guys. All of a sudden, in mainstream media, what are you hearing? It's racist. It's intimidating, this flag. There's bad, negative connotations to this flag. Guess what? If any of you out there has a problem with our flag being flown in our own damn fucking country, what the hell are you doing here? What the hell are you doing here? Because our flag's not going to change. Our flag is our flag. You've got a problem with our flag being flown. What the hell are you doing in this country? Get out. Go. Go somewhere where you prefer their flag rather than ours. Go nuts! With my blessing, go! It's absolutely insane that there are debates in mainstream media of our flag being racist, that there's negative connotations to our flag, and so there's a problem with it being flown publicly in our own country. For me, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, and again, I'm not inciting hatred to anyone, or a particular group or religion, etc., right? This is my own belief, my own idea. Anyone that's arguing against our flag being flown in our own damn country, anyone that's saying that our flag is racist, bigoted, has negative connotations, this, that, and the other, right? Guess what? You are traitors. Because if you're British, you should be supporting our flag, supporting our culture, supporting our society, not literally tearing it down, because there are Mormons out there that are tearing down the flags that are being put up. You're all traitors. There we go. Sue Kuchar says, yep, I'll be there through your live stream on Saturday at the United Kingdom free speech rally. That's a long way for me. Long way for me as well. I live up in Yorkshire, guys. There's a trek that I have to undergo tomorrow, but I would not miss this rally for the world at this point. I really wouldn't. Unless something earth-shattering happens in my personal life, I am freaking there. My hotel's booked, the train's booked, everything. It is paid for, it is done. I've got the equipment that I need. It's done. Game over, I'm there. It's important that we all come together peacefully, legally, democratically, to follow through with our right to peaceful protest against, for me, what I consider a dictatorship that is ruling us right now. And it's more important now than ever in the event of Charlie Kirk being assassinated and murdered yesterday. General Scott, thank you very much for the $2 super chat sticker. Very, very kind of you. It is my favourite one. He knows this. But I'm not going to go through why it's my favourite one. I do think it's a little bit... no. I just don't. Not even the Ginger Doggy Fighting Hearts moment is like making me smile at this point. I am saddened. I am shocked at what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk. I'm angry. I'm pissed off. But I am channeling all that energy into legal, peaceful, democratic action. Firstly, by doing this live stream. And secondly, going to London tomorrow. Attending his vigil tomorrow night. And then attending the free speech rally on Saturday. See what else you guys are saying. Oh, Void Eternal, thank you so much for that very, very kind super chat sticker. Sue Kuchar says, is Mr. Fox going with you? Yes, he is. He is. He won't be attending the free speech rally on Saturday. But he is coming with me to London tomorrow. So yes, he is coming. The Sarge says it's happening here in Australia too. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. Good luck, mate. Good luck to us all. Gonna bloody need it. Hey up, Wancho. How's it going, dude? Oh my goodness. Hey up. Make sure, Wancho's a really good friend of mine, and make sure you, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to him because the Ravens flock, because we may not agree with everything, right? But he's a good mate. He's extremely respectful. And a couple of weeks ago, he and I had a really, really good heart-to-heart of me telling him and educating him on what's really going down in the UK, what's really, really happening. Not only just telling him, but giving him the receipts as well and all that jazz. And so, one show at the moment, he is in, I would like to say, the discovery phase. Discovering what's really, really going on with the UK, what's really, really happening, and then forming his own opinion as to what he thinks about it all, right? So, there we go. Want to mention that about my mate Wancho there. Hey up, Wancho. How's it going, dude? Now, Richie Dupe, this is very interesting that you bring this up. Richie Dupe says, I noticed huge change in many cities from the 2008 onwards. Blair is the gift that keeps on shitting on us. Yeah. I did a video on Political Nerds. I want to say a month or two back now. I can't remember. And in it, there was a memo that was leaked during the Tony Blair days when he was Prime Minister. And it was a memo from the Home Office or something along those lines. And it turned around and it said, essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, this is how you deal with people that are against immigration, whether it's legal, illegal, or whatever, right? We need to create the narrative that those that disagree are far right, racist, bigoted, the whole lot. Yeah. This narrative of us being far right, racist, bigoted, because we're against illegal immigration, we can thank Tony Blair and his Labour dictatorship back in the day for that. Because the memo emphasised that they needed to put out this narrative via the mainstream media and all that lot. The mainstream media are complicit in all of this as well. Best believe. So, yeah. Blair is the gift that keeps on shitting on us. But the change in our cities, the change in our British culture, our way of life, oh, that was when he was freaking elected as Prime Minister in like 97, 98. That's when it started, as soon as he got into power. And how he still is free and hasn't been brought up in court for war crimes is beyond me. Beyond me. He is a war criminal as far as I'm concerned. And no one could persuade me otherwise. Absolutely no one. Sue Kuchar says, until recently, Washington, D.C. had rainbow crosswalks, not anymore. That's another thing, going back to the Raise the Flags program that's going on here at the moment. So not only are we putting up the flags publicly in our own country, but we're also painting, let's say, the St. George's flag, apologies, St. George's flag on crosswalks, on roundabouts. And this is a thing, right? I've seen the rainbow flag being painted on the crosswalks and all that lot, and steps and all that. And they've been kept, right? Right, fine, okay. As soon as the St. George's English flag cross is painted on the crosswalks, on the roundabouts, on the steps, the council, our government, swoops in within 24 hours to cover it up. To cover it up. So it's all right for the rainbow flag to be painted all around, but not for our own country's flag in our own country itself. Please make that make sense to me. Please. It's freaking insane. Let's see. Sue Kuchar says, do you all have bear spray in the UK? No. This is the thing with the UK. We can't defend ourselves because if we do, we're the ones then that get done. In other words, right? If an illegal immigrant gets their hands on me and I defend myself and kick him in the dirt where he belongs, I'm the one that then gets done for assault. I'm the one that gets arrested, and he's then turned into the victim. We're not allowed to have bear spray, pepper spray on us at all. We are not allowed to have any form of defense other than a rape alarm. Yeah. And they're totally effective, right, guys? Totally effective. It's nuts. As the case with the Epping Hotel proved, the government has said that the illegal immigrants have more rights than us. They also turned round, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they said, right, along the lines of, well, do you know what? When it comes to the illegal immigrants, the British native community, so us British citizens, right, we need to tolerate at least a certain level of criminality from them. You what? No. No. We shouldn't need to tolerate any criminality from them whatsoever. Why? Because they shouldn't be here in the first place. They're illegal immigrants. They came to this country illegally. They broke in. They broke our laws by coming here in the first place. So we shouldn't have to tolerate any criminality from them because they shouldn't be here. You know, it's that simple. Why don't they get it through their thick skulls? But yeah, when you've got a government that's turning round and saying that the illegal immigrants have more rights than us, and the British community, the natives here, us, we should reasonably expect a certain level of criminality from these illegal immigrants. Guess what? That leaves us screwed. Because we've got to tolerate their criminality, right? Them raping us, attacking us, stealing from us, right? But then when it comes to us fighting back, defending ourselves, right? That's what I mean. We're the ones that get screwed over in the end. We're the ones then that get done for assault. We're the ones in handcuffs. They're not. They're then the victims. She's the freaking bed. I did a video, I think it was yesterday. Check this out, guys. This is just one of the reasons how, one of the examples of how backwards the UK is right now. There's nearly 200 illegal immigrants, right? They're using taxpayer money to appoint solicitors to sue us for inhumane conditions. So around about 200 of these illegal immigrants, they were all put into like these old army barracks, right? Yeah, they're suing us for the inhumane conditions whilst they were there. They're basically suing us because we didn't give them the hotel that they were expecting and wanted. Guess what? Part of the European Court of Human Rights. We're screwed even more. They're going to win. They're going to win. When you've got judges turning around and saying that we can't deport these mofos because one of their sons prefers chicken nuggets here rather than abroad. Another says, well, if we deport him back, then, you know, it's going to be too dangerous for him because of what he's being convicted of, this, that, and the other. When you've got decisions like that in favour of extremely dangerous and violent illegal immigrants that are now here to stay, you think that the institution is on our side when we defend ourselves reasonably against these illegal immigrants that want to attack us, rape us, steal from us, and everything else in between? Not a chance. Not a chance. Basically turning around and saying that we just got to roll over and die. Guess what? I'm not rolling over and I'm not effing dying. Not anymore. And for those that don't know, and I've been completely honest about this, as a child, unfortunately, it wasn't part of a rape gang or anything like that, okay? It was one perpetrator. I was repeatedly raped when I was a little girl. You think I'm going to allow that to happen to me ever again? Keir Starmer and his Labour dictatorship and all his cronies, you can get fucked. Get fucked. So, yeah, do we have bear spray in the UK? I wish. I wish we did. I wish we were allowed, legally, a non-lethal way to be able to defend ourselves, like pepper spray. We're not even allowed that. We're lambs to the slaughter. That's our government doing that right now. We're lambs to the slaughter. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. Byron Perry, there you go. Speak out now or forever hold your peace. Your rights will be taken from you whilst you're not looking. Yeah, we're looking. So many shizzing rights have been taken away from us. It's unbelievable. We're looking and we're now coming back and we're saying enough's enough. Enough's enough. Let's see. Carl says, funny how they start a war over migration, but then want to migrate over here. The people supporting them coming over are also the people defending them stopping migration. Well, let's go one step further on this, right? So, these illegal immigrants, right? They're claiming asylum because wherever they came from was too restrictive, right? It was bad. It was awful where they came from. That's their argument. Okay. Then why are you trying to turn the UK into the country that you're saying you're escaping from? Come on. Come on. Don't be a fucking dickhead all your life. Do you know what I mean? If that country you're running away from is so bad, why are you trying to turn us into the country you're running away from in the first place? Again, make that make sense, guys. Doesn't, does it? Look at the polls. Look at how many of them want Sharia law in this country. The last poll I checked, 40% of them. We are now considered the Western capital of the world when it comes to Sharia courts. We've got over 85 of them. We've got a dictatorship that right now, as we speak, is trying to hammer out a definition for Islamophobia, which is essentially a blasphemy law coming through into the back door, back into the UK legal system. Come on. Seagull Gunner says, my flag is flying. Do you know what? Mine is too! I got these done earlier on today in preparation for this weekend. So, yeah, mine is too. Mine is too. Let's see. Just looking at your comments. Stephen Clark. Okay, here we go. So, I've got many more clips that I'm going to be releasing over on this channel over time. And it's clips. And they are all of men being caught that are Muslim. And they're caught trying to meet up with an underage girl. We know what they intended to do. Because all the messages to the decoy spell out what these evil monsters wanted to do to these little girls, right? To essentially, the decoy in this regard, right? But when they get caught, and I'm watching these clips as they get caught and everything, a lot of them are all saying the same thing. It's allowed under Sharia law. It's allowed in my religion. It was allowed where I came from. I didn't know it was different here. Either way, they don't see it as a crime to meet up and rape an underage British girl. They don't. From these clips, they don't. They don't at all. Again, they all justify it. It's my religion, it's Sharia law. Oh, no, it was different here. I thought it was the same all over the world. Yeah, they just don't see it as a crime. They really don't. And those that are covering up for these monsters don't see it as a crime as well. And I mention that because Rupert Law, I wish he was our Prime Minister really at the end of the day. He set up the independent rape gang inquiry that's done some extremely important work, right? And has already released quite a lot of information as to what they've found out so far. And the one thing that I never took into account, but Rupert Law has published, is that it's not just the men that are part of these rape gangs that are evil, but there were family members, friends, associates, what have you, that knew what these monsters were doing and did naff all about it. Why? Hazard a guess. Hazard a guess. It could be potentially because they don't see it as a crime, right? Sharia law allows them to. It's part of their religion, where they came from before it was allowed. They didn't know it was different here. Or, alternatively, I did a video, I think it was in the last week, right? I showed you a clip. There was a gentleman that spoke to another Muslim gentleman, and he turned around and asked the Muslim gentleman, look, if you knew someone that was a terrorist and was about to commit a terrorist act on UK soil that was going to kill countless innocents, would you report that person? And that Islam gentleman turned round, I shiz you not, and said, it is against my religion, it is against Islam to dob in a fellow Muslim to the authorities. Yeah. Yeah. That is what we're dealing with in a certain portion of our society. It's not compatible with our laws, with British culture. It's not. But pointing that out, oh, we're far right, we're racist, we're this, that, and the other. We're the enemy. Okay, so we're far right, racist, and we're the enemy because we're out here speaking up against crimes against British children. We're the enemy, we're racist, we're bigots, this, that, and the other because we're speaking up, wanting to protect our children. Again, I was not a victim of a rape gang, but I was raped repeatedly when I was a little girl. I won't wish that on my worst enemy. See what else you guys are saying before I end today's live stream. Bloody hell, we've been coming up to 2 hours now, haven't we? Okay. Denise Hatcher. She says, we need to unite the kingdom now to get rid of hatred. For me, unite the kingdom is about restoring. Not getting rid, it's restoring. Unite the Kingdom for me on Saturday is about restoring our British culture, our British identity, our British pride. It's about restoring our rights to freedom of speech and freedom of expression. It's about restoring our British way of life. It's about restoring our British legal system. It's about restoring the equilibrium of our country that is off kilter at the moment because of A, the illegal immigrants, and B, the people that have come over here not assimilating into our British culture and our British identity, and instead creating a parallel society to ours that's not compatible with British society, British culture, Western beliefs, and Western society and culture. It just isn't. Let's put it this way. Anyone who thinks that raping an underage girl is like the okay thing to do, guess what? For us, in this country, in the Western world, you are a pedophile. And no excuses, no hiding behind your religion will escape that fact. You are a pedophile. Guess what? Pedophiles, they're not compatible with British society, British culture, and our law, or Western society and Western culture. We don't tolerate it. You're put into prison for it. And by rights, if you're not a British national here, you're sent back home, where you came from. You're not our problem. Done. So for me, it's not about getting rid per se. It's about restoring our country. That's what we need. There we go. Let's see. Oh, General Scott, thank you very much for the $2 super chat saying, thank you for covering this. Everyone stay safe. And you know what? I'm going to leave it with that. It's just going around full circle. What happened to Charlie Kirk, the murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk, is evil. Inexcusable. It's just because you disagree with someone does not give you then the license to think that you can assassinate and kill them. It just doesn't. But like I said earlier on, whoever this murderer is, it's backfired on him. Because this murderer killed Charlie Kirk to silence him. And so even though Charlie Kirk sadly is no longer with us, his words, his ideas, his beliefs, they all live on. Millions of people today all around the world are going online to see numerous clips of Charlie Kirk. Millions more may never have heard of Charlie Kirk before. or even seen any of his clips or watched any of his debates. But now they are. And so whoever killed him, whoever assassinated him, did the exact opposite of what they hoped to achieve. They didn't silence him. They amplified his voice 1 million times over and then some. With that being said, guys, that is it for this Red Alert broadcast. Breaking news during this live stream. We got new details about the suspect of the killer of Charlie Kirk. We know it's a he. We know that he looked like he was of college age and that he blended in with college, which indicates to me that he attended the college where the murder took place. We also now know that the murder weapon has been found as well, the rifle. So more details are coming out. We also know that the authorities have a picture of the suspect, so they know exactly who he is, they know exactly who they're looking for, they know exactly who they're hunting. It's only a matter of time. We also know that Utah does have a death penalty, and from what I've read, one of their options to carry out the death penalty is by firing squad. I wouldn't shed a tear if that happened to the killer of Charlie Kirk. Let me put it that way. So with that being said, if you appreciated this live stream and you want more, and unfortunately with the state of the world at the moment, there is going to be more, do make sure you subscribe here on Political Nerds. If you're watching on X, make sure you follow me at Steph Alternerd. This weekend, there's going to be a lot coming your way. I'm going to be in London. I'm going to be at the Unite the Kingdom free speech rally. So I will be going live. So for those that can't make it, if you would like, you can tune into my channel and yeah, watch it all unfold live with me. I hope to speak to some people, do a little bit of on-site, quick little mini interviews with people, and yeah, fight to restore free speech to the country, fight to restore our British culture, our British identity, to restore our boundaries, to restore our borders, to restore our way of life. That's what I'm going to be fighting for in a peaceful, legal, democratic manner, using my right to protest in order to do so. What are you guys fighting for? Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.